When planning your trip to Rome, basing yourself within the city of Rome makes the most sense for most people, but not for everybody. And there are some really good reasons why you may want to consider basing in one of the small towns just outside of Rome. That's what this video is about. I have a lot to share with you. Let's get started. When Rome gets too expensive, too crowded, too noisy, too stressful, I've got a great alternative. Instead of staying in the city of Rome, there are 5 towns I'm going to share with you that I think make wonderful home bases. At the very end, I'm going to share with you my very favorite, but all of these are very good alternatives to staying inside the city of Rome, and all of them are easily accessible on train, just a short train ride, and then you can come into Rome when you want to and enjoy the Vatican or the Colosseum or Trevi Fountain or any of the other sites. And then at the end of the day, you can head back to a nice, quiet, more intimate, relaxed environment that I think you're really going to love. And for some people that just like the idea of staying in a smaller town, this is ideal for you. But even if you really are set on staying in the city of Rome, I still think sticking around and watching this video might, I'm not trying to change your mind or convince you, but it might open up your eyes to the opportunity or possibilities of staying in one of these small towns and the benefits of each of them. The first town I want to share with you that I think makes a great place to base from when visiting Rome is the town of Ostia. Ostia is just south of Rome a little bit. Here's the airport that most people come in. Fiumicino Airport's right down here. So right next to that is the town of Ostia. And Ostia is on the beach, basically. It's right on the ocean. So the train station is right around here, and as long as you stay fairly close to the train station, within like a kilometer, it'll make it very easy for you to get to the train station when you want to go into Rome. Getting to Rome is super easy. This is probably the easiest place to access Rome from. It takes about 30 minutes on the train, and there's 2 or 3 trains per hour. And the good news is, it's the same cost, it's the same tickets actually as the metro or bus tickets in Rome. So it's super inexpensive, it's 1.5 euros. And if you already have like a Rome pass or one of those passes where you have unlimited transportation, it would be included on that. So you don't have to pay any additional fees. And then in Ostia itself, there's lots of, restaurants. It's kind of a newer town, I would say. It's not like, it doesn't really have a real old historical area. It's a small one, but mostly it's kind of a newer town. But on there, if you're interested in going to the beach, all these things along the beach here that I'm showing you, these are where you can go rent an umbrella and a lounge chair and just soak up the sun, work on your tan, visit the beach. There's lots of them to choose from along the beach there, and a very popular thing to do in the summertime. And even if you're staying in Rome, come out to Ostia for the beach day. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Very easy ride, like I said. It's just like the same as the metro. You can come out to Ostia. But one other site in Ostia is Ostia Antica. It's like Pompeii. It's a town kind of like Pompeii. It wasn't buried by a volcano, but it was covered in mud for centuries. It's been excavated, and now it's quite a large area that you can go visit, see all the ruins. Kind of fun to do. If you like ruins and you haven't had enough of them, then head to Ostia, check out Ostia Antica. So the best things about basing in Ostia, I would say, is the accessibility to Rome. Super easy. Plus the town's quieter than being inside the city of Rome. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, Ostia may be the perfect change for you. The next town I want to share with you is a town that's located kind of to the west of Rome. Here's Rome here, and here's this big lake right here. It's called Lake Bracciano. And there's a town called Bracciano. It's a spectacular town. Now, it would be higher rated for me if it was just a little easier to get to Rome. This one does take a little more time. It takes like an hour and a half from Rome because you do have to usually change stations when you take the train into Rome. So it's not super convenient, but I want to share it with you anyways because I thought the town was spectacular. And it's located right here on this edge of the lake. It's kind of elevated over the lake. There's around 20,000 people that live in Bracciano. And It's a real fun town to walk around. The streets are fun. It's got a fantastic castle. And just a point of interest, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes were married there. I don't know when, but they were married in that castle in Bracciano. And then the town is just super fun. Even in the evenings, you can just go. There's nice restaurants and little piazzas and squares to sit in, just absorb the atmosphere. And then when you're tired of that, you can head down to the lake, kind of like being on the ocean. There's lots of places along the lake there that you can get an umbrella and a lounge chair, chill at the lake. And one other thing I want to point out is right over here, not very far from the town, maybe 4 or 5 kilometers, there's a little town called Aguilara Sabazia. It's a little medieval town. It's got up on a hill. Really fun to go explore. It's a very fun, quiet little town. Both cities are very few tourists, and it's a little bit more authentic experience in that aspect. But again, it is a little bit more difficult to get to Rome. Not impossible by any means. It's less than an hour and a half and you can be to Rome. And even if you're not going to base yourself out of Bracciano, I would recommend one day, if you have the time, to head out to Bracciano. You would really love it. It's just a fun little town to go explore. If you get the time or have the desire, give it a try. Now I'm going to share with you 2 towns that are located in what they call the Castelli Romani region of Rome. It is just outside, it's to the east, about 20 kilometers. There's a train that heads to both of these cities, making it very easy to get into Rome. The first town I'm going to share with you is actually a very small town, the smallest of all of them. It's called Castel Gondolfo. Right on Lake Albano. Let me just zoom in here. This is lake. It's a beautiful lake. I think it was created by a crater at one time. But Castel Gondolfo, it's a small little town. It really is. But that's kind of what that makes it very interesting. It's just, this little strip here. Even when they got real estate, they still put the buildings right on top of each other. It's just what makes it interesting, right? And along this bench, what's really nice is there's lots of little hotels or Airbnbs that have these overlooks of the lake in this area here. It's just outstanding. It really is neat. And so in the daytime, you can go down here and, all the commerce is kind of along this one main road right here, all the little restaurants right along here. There's little grocery stores, half a dozen restaurants or so. And then one other thing that's kind of interesting, this big building here, this used to be the summer home of the Pope. Up until recently, like 2016, the Pope actually spent the summers here in this residence, and there's gardens, and today you can tour that. It's a tourist attraction, but it's right there at Castel Gondolfo, and the train station is just a short walk down the hill. It's like right around here, and that makes it really convenient. Trains are around 35 minutes from Rome. There's like 1 per hour heading to Rome or coming from Rome back to Castel Gondolfo. So Castel Gondolfo, if you're looking for something that's kind of like a really good vibe, real nice atmosphere, great views, it is small, and without a car, you might feel a little bit isolated. For those that are looking for great views, a quiet town, a very intimate experience, Castel Gondolfo may be the perfect home base when visiting Rome. The second town I want to share with you is also located in the Castelli Romani region, not far from Castel Gondolfo. It's the town right here. Here's Rome, and it's about 20 kilometers. It's a short 30-minute train ride to the town of Frascati. What's nice about Frascati is it's kind of a compact town, kind of located on a little bit of a elevated location. And this area in here, the train station's real close. It's just right down here. But as you come into this city, it's about 400 or 500 meters across in either direction. So it's not real big, but it is very compact, giving you that authentic Italian feel. Lots of little restaurants, a lot of restaurants in this town. I'd say there's probably 100 plus restaurants, pizzerias, different diners, lots of little shops, fun little boutiques and all that kind of stuff. It is kind of small, but what's great about Frascati is that it is only a 30-minute train ride to Rome. So when you want to, you can go into Rome for the day and easily get back back to your home base, back to Frascati when you want to. And the best thing about Frascati, I think, I stayed here for a couple of months. We had a car, so if you're going to go to Frascati, And even Castel Gondolfo, I would say having a car in this region is probably the ideal situation. Now, getting a car generally is not great, especially when visiting Rome. It's just too congested, it's too difficult to find parking. But out here in the Roman countryside, driving a car is a lot of fun. It really is. Plus, it allows you to go to other towns. There's so many fun towns out here to go explore. We just loved it, and that was where we spent a lot of our time. We spent it exploring all the towns in the Castelli Romani region. We went to Grotta Ferrata. Now, that's not initially a town with tons of charm. It does have a neat castle there, but I really liked it after a while. There was a nice street there, some nice little restaurants. One of my favorite pasticcerias was right there on that main street, and they had good Wi-Fi. There's another town called Rocca di Papa. Very fascinating. It's built on a steep incline, and so we started at the base. We walked away to the very top. Spectacular views. Just a fun little town. It's a very old town and almost medieval. But Rocca di Papa, you know, it's another one of those towns, just fun to explore. And then probably my favorite small little town is a town called Nemi. Let me show you here on the map. Okay, this was Lake Albano right here, and this is actually Lake Nemi, the smaller one. These aren't very far apart. But there's a little town called Nemi right here. Let's zoom in here. It's elevated a few hundred feet above the lake, so the views are spectacular. And in all honesty, one of the coolest towns that I've ever been in. It's just out of a storybook. Super charming. It's small, but it's packed with personality. It really is. The town is known for these little strawberries, so throughout the town they sell a lot of pastries with small strawberries on them. Also, as you enter the town of Nemi, there's a fantastic deli. They make porchetta sandwiches that are incredible, along with just about anything else. You know, if you want a salami or prosciutto, it's really worthwhile. Stop in there and you won't be disappointed. It's pretty easy to find because as soon as you get in there, it's really the only deli in town. If you choose Frascati to base from, I think you're going to really enjoy it, especially if you have a car and have the opportunity to take advantage of all the little towns that are around Frascati. Now on to my final recommendation. A quick interruption to tell you about our new travel guide called Rome Travel Guida. Yes, we have a travel guide. Check it out in the description. In brief, I want to tell you it's got tons of information that will help you as you plan your trip to Rome. It also includes a PDF. It's a booklet, over 65 pages that you can download. So much information to help you have a great time in Rome. Check it out. There's a discount code in the description. And back to the video. At the beginning of the video, I told you I would save the best for last. And the best city, in my opinion, that is quite a bit better than any other area to base from when visiting Rome. We just loved it there. It is the town of Tivoli. Here's Rome here. So Tivoli is about 25 or 30 kilometers, pretty much just north of Rome. Let me zoom in here. The town, what we loved about it was a big enough town. It's around 55,000 people that live in the town of Tivoli. The town itself is kind of up on a hill, but it's not so small that you get bored with it. There's enough there to see and do. The streets, there wasn't a boring street in the whole town. It's absolutely pristine. It's fun to walk around. There's tons of restaurants, tons of shops, nice squares. There are 3 really important sites, fun sites to see while you're in the city of Tivoli. The first very important site in Tivoli is Villa d'Este. Villa d'Este is a great huge villa, but more importantly, it's all the gardens and the fountains behind the villa. There's like 500 fountains. It's really incredible. And you can spend a nice evening there in Villa d'Este. Also, there's Hadrian's Villa. It's where Hadrian used to live. It's his whole, you know, almost like a city. I mean, it's big. It's spread out over, you know, I think it's like a kilometer across or something. It's quite large. And there's tons of buildings that are still there. Most of them, you know, are missing the roofs and stuff. They're kind of like the ruins of his villa. But super interesting to go take a look at. And then also, there is what they call the Villa Gregoriana. See this gorge right here? There is actually a trail that heads down here in the gorge, and it probably descends 400 or 500 feet to the bottom, and then you come up the other side. There's little caves to walk through, a lot of neat walkways. You see some neat waterfalls along the way. Just a fun nature hike, really. That's kind of the best way to describe it. It's kind of a nature hike. And then when you're in the city of Tivoli, it does not disappoint. There are so many fun little, see, look in here, it's just so many fun streets to walk down. All this, you know, you can tell the streets are real narrow, and I love the narrow streets. I just really think they're interesting. Like I said, everywhere I walked in Tivoli, I did not like say, oh, kind of boring. It was just really, really fun, and we love the town of Tivoli, and accessing Rome from Tivoli was super easy. It's around an hour, just depends on which train you get on, but there are 1 or 2 per hour heading to Rome or from Rome back to Tivoli. So it makes it a great home base. And then after visiting Rome, coming home to Tivoli, you will not be disappointed. It's a fun town, and when you get back to the town, you're not gonna have to wait in long lines at the restaurants and other things. It's a nice, peaceful location. Not that many tourists. Sure, there's some tourists, but nothing like Rome. And Tivoli, again, is just the perfect base. I think a great combination between a fun city to be in and accessibility to Rome, restaurants, things to do. You might find that you spend more time in Tivoli than you think. Tivoli is awesome. Rome is awesome. The two are super awesome. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. To the next one, alla prossima, ciao.